Hi, this is Denise Matthew. Hope you're doing well. Back again for another week of the transits. A few things happening this week. We have a couple of full emotional channels that will be activated this week. And other than that, we continue with the Mandala of Life experiment. And if you want more information about that, I have a YouTube playlist. Plus, I also have the community page. All the links are below, so you can have a look at that if you're interested. And with that said, let's get into the transits. So right now we have the sun in the gate 7, and the gate 7 is an interesting gate. It is a roll gate, and I did a full video on that, so it can give you even more information. And what that says is that we all have a genetic imperative or sort of a way of being that is connected to our profile line. And this would be the personality side. So in other words, the black numbers. So for instance, if you're a 1-4, then you would be gate 7 line 1 type of leadership style. And that's what this speaks to. This talks about leadership style. So if we're talking about, for instance, a gate 7 line 1, or the leadership style that you would have if you had a 1-4 or a 1-3 profile, we would talk about somebody who has built a foundation, or you have authority in some type of field, you have expertise, you have experience that you've sort of gathered so that you can speak from a place of knowing and knowledge, and that is your leadership style. And if you have this type of leadership style, what that says is that it is necessary for you when you take a leadership role to actually have this foundation built so that you can take on the role of a leader. Because if you don't have this foundation built, then your leadership style may not have the strength that is required for you to continue to be an effective leader. The whole thing about the logical leadership, and this is a gate 7, and it is connected to the gate 31. So if we think about the gate 31 is the voice of leadership, or the face that we see that's talking for the people, then this might be the power behind the throne, or somebody who is sort of getting all the papers together so they have a speech, or they're getting all the supporters kind of doing all the jobs that they need to do so that this leadership can continue. Now, the thing about this is that sometimes the gate 7 is supporting the 31 or the influential leadership, and they don't get the props or the recognition for their leadership. So that's a potential that can happen as well. The other side of it is because the 31-7, the whole channel, the channel of the alpha, is very connected. I mean, all channels are connected, but this is almost like you can sort of flip back and forth between being the face of the leadership and then also being the power behind the throne. It's like many people who have the gate 7 hanging take on leadership roles. Generally, you see the gate 31 as being the face of the leadership, but the gate 7 can sort of go on both sides. Sometimes it can be the face, and sometimes it could be behind the scenes. But many times, this is a leadership that's behind the scenes, doing all the work, making sure that the face of the leadership is being supported, that everybody's on the same page, and it's all going very smoothly, because ultimately, this leadership is pointing the direction towards the future. Where are we going to go in the future? What are the patterns that we need? What are the things that are going to sustain us as a collective? And that is exactly what logic is talking about. And the nature of all logical energy is that there's a lot of criticism that goes with this energy. So in other words, if you are a logical leader, there's more chance that people will criticize your leadership and kind of want to sort of take you down from your leadership role if they see that things that you're saying aren't adding up, or the patterns that you're trying to bring into the world are not actually being efficient. There's a need to be efficient, to get things right, and to really have an eye on the prize, as well as having the voice of all the people that are supporting you integrate it within your whole leadership style. Because if you're not doing that, then you are not having the type of leadership that this is talking to, which is not about you deciding for all the people. This is talking about you being sort of one cog in the wheel, and the whole system is everybody's important, everybody needs a voice, and only in that way can this leadership actually be strong and sort of move forward. The most interesting thing I think about this energy is to actually be watching daily as the days go on. So just watching in the world to see, are you seeing those types of roles play out in the world? And it's kind of a nice way, because this is, like I said, a role gate. So it can be almost less personal and more about a leadership style. This leadership style that we're talking about is something that is completely related to the concept that you're following your strategy and authority, and you're naturally going to be going towards this type of leadership. And when we're talking about the gate 7 as a role gate, we're talking about an energy that you actually don't have to have it defined, because it will always be connected to your profile in some way. Everybody has a leadership style dependent upon their profile. But if you also have the gate 7 defined, then that's going to show you that you have access to different types of leadership based on your particular body graph. And again, if we're using our strategy and authority and living as our authentic selves, then we know that this will sort of naturally show up as something that it's a go-to way of our leadership. So for instance, if you had the gate 7 line 6 and you were a 1-4 profile, that would mean you'd have access to the energy of the 1, which is, like I said, the authoritarian, and also the 6th line, which is the administrator. And that's about everybody being given a role to be a leader. And in the 6th line, when we get to the 6th line, the gate 7 line 6, it really does talk to this idea that everybody can be a leader in their own right. We don't need to always have somebody to tell us what to do. This is more like, kind of seeing the potential and the strengths in people, and kind of allowing people to take on their own leadership style. So that would be something that you could potentially have if you have those 2 gates. And on August 11th, we have the sun moving into the gate 4. So we're moving from logical energy right into logical energy again. So it continues on. Now, the thing about the gate 4 is that it connects to the gate 63, which makes a full channel. So the gate 63 is doubt, and the gate 4 is an answer. So there's doubting certain answers, or feeling that you need to have some level of security in the answers that you're getting. Neptune was in the gate 63 from 2017 up to 2020 for a part of 2020. So what it says is that there's been more of this need to find the answers, to figure out, to have a suspicious outlook about what exactly is happening in the world, because we did have Neptune, which is all about illusions and kind of disillusions, and this ability to kind of have the veil pulled over a lot of things. So we could have had a lot of the suspicions, but not really had any solutions as to what's going on. Again, we're going into logical energy, which really does talk to the idea of questions and criticism, and say prove it to me with the right answer. There's potential to hear more about things that are hidden away from us, things that people are suspicious about, people, places, things that are happening right now. The big thing that we're talking that is in the news is vaccination passports, and also this concept of mandatory vaccinations, and a lot of this kind of stuff. And I think that what's going to happen because of this gate 4 activation by the sun is that we could have a lot of people really kind of pushing back and feeling that it's all suspicious and wanting answers. Now, the key with the gate 4 is to wait for the correct answers to come, whenever that is. Now, the difference between the gate 63 and the gate 4 is that the gate 63 is a head gate, or basically, which is an inspiration. There is no awareness in the gate 63. The only awareness that we get is when we get the connection, which would be the gate 4 in this case. And the gate 4 starts to kind of bring answers to us that makes us feel less suspicious, that we're feeling, okay, yes, that pattern actually works. I'm okay with that. Because also ultimately, like I said, logical energy is all about the concept of truly wanting to get the patterns that are correct, so that we can actually have some safety and not have chaos, because that's the biggest fear of the gate 4 is this concept of having chaos, because the gate 4 is one of the Ajna gates, and all Ajna gates have some level of mental anxiety related to them. So this could be a time where we're anxiously waiting for the correct answers. The other perspective is that the line 4 of this energy has potential to not give the right answers. So when we have this energy being transited by the sun, the key is that we really kind of have to hold on to the concept of our strategy and our authority and human design in general. The idea of human design is that we are our own authorities, and we are here to find our answers, and the ones that actually make sense to us. As long as we're using our strategy and authority to find out the answers that are best for us, just because someone says an answer doesn't mean it's true. And it's all about being discerning and getting the right answer for you. And this week, there's potential to have a lot of answers being thrown around and not really having a clarity of exactly what's true and what isn't. And sometimes, like, what I've noticed is that when the sun goes through the energy, we kind of get these downloads because it is neutrinos, it is data that we're getting, and we all sort of connect the data differently based on their body graph, based on who we are. And when the earth eventually transits through that same gate, we kind of get that sort of concrete version of what exactly we got when we got the sun. So that's something to keep in mind too. So in other words, you might have the answers now and you might feel like it's clear, the clarity is there, but you might have something even more concrete further on down the road. What is true and what isn't true. Right now, the earth is in the gate 13, and we know that the gate 13 is about secrets and it is abstract energy. So it is about the past experiences and those types of things. So we look at the sun, as I said, the sun is when we get sort of the downloads of information, the data, and we start to process the data when we get it. And then when the earth transits that same gate, then we can get almost like a concrete version or something that becomes form based on the information that we got when the sun went through. So the time to look back at would be February, the first week of February 2021. So let's see if some secrets or some information or something that showed up in the first week of February, are we seeing more concretized versions of that? Or are we seeing more of that kind of things are actually taking form? Something's happening based on the information that we got. There could be also some more release of information or secrets or stories or kind of concepts about experiences that we've had and those types of things. It's a beautiful place because this is a place of transformation where we're actually seeing the potential for people to become something more beautiful. This is the direction for the reflection, you could say. So in other words, it does connect to the gate 33. So the reflection is directed, and what will we get from that experience? This is the energy of, like I said, hearing a lot of secrets and an ability to have some level of transformation based on the experiences that you had and the reflections that you had too. On August 11th, we do have the Earth going into the gate 49. This will bring a full emotional channel, the 1949. We haven't had the 1949 for a while, so we're going to be having it again. The last time we had the 1949, the last time we had the 1949 channel was March 11th to April 4th. So we might see some resurgence of those themes because we do have it going retrograde. This is going to be between the Earth and also Saturn. Now with Saturn, and it's in the line 2 right now, which means service. So in other words, you do this and I'll do that. So when it comes together with the gate 49, this is like in a relationship. This is relationship energy. So this says, I will do this for you and you'll protect me, it's like a give and take kind of energy. And then when we have the energy of the revolution, kind of saying we need to support the people. We need to support people who are disadvantaged, looking at the people who are not having an easy path right now, and kind of really pushing emotionally to get the right answers. Because again, we do have the answers here as well to figure out how we're going to support these people. And if we can't support these people, do we have to push the agenda? Do we have to push against what the establishment, and that's tribal energy? Do we have to push against the establishment so that we can get the things that we need in the real world? Because this is saying, I don't want any more talk. I want to see real solutions. I want to see real support for the people that need it the most. And because this is the Earth. The Earth is exalted in the fourth line, which really does talk to this idea of, trying to do everything you can before you actually revolt. What point do I need to, like, you're going to exhaust every option before you actually revolt completely and just push against the system. This does seem to activate something where we are definitely not potentially okay with the answers we're getting. And there's this potential for revolution, to really push against this. And it's tribal energy. It is support. It's like, if you're not supporting me, then I'm not going to put up with this anymore. This is very, very much about being supported. Now, this can be in a relationship too, where there's this, you're trying to work on this relationship. You're doing everything you can. You're kind of hoping for the give and take in a relationship. But when you're not getting it, you're doing everything you can to get to that, to salvage it, to make it better, to do whatever you can. but eventually if it's still not going to work, it's the last resort. And that would be where you're pushing and saying, okay, this is, I can't do this anymore. I have to do something else because it's just not working. So the biggest pressure this week is to try and get on the same page, to actually not be able to just have the status quo anymore, to see some real solutions starting to come into the world, and no more just talking about it. It's like, show me something that's real, something that's concrete. Right now, Mercury's in the gate 29. We've sort of been talking about the gate 29 because we did have Venus through it already. And this is just one more time where we're talking about this idea, and then the sun will come very soon afterwards. It does talk to the idea that there is potential to have good luck within this energy. The good luck comes from the concept that you're saying yes to the right things. When you're saying yes to the right things, you're going to be in the right place at the right time to reap the benefits. And you're also going to be in the flow of your life, because ultimately, when you're in the flow of your life, you're going to have more things that are going to work with the flow, because we're when we're in the flow of our life, it's almost like we're on the trajectory that we're meant to have. And when we're doing that, then that just puts us in a better position to get more benefits in our life. And that's basically what Mercury is saying, to really say yes to the correct things for you, and to let go of the things that are not going to work to your advantage. And just, sometimes we have this tendency to always say yes, even when we should say no. And that's just a reminder about that. On August 12th, we do have Mercury going into the gate 59, and it is actually going to make a full channel with Venus. Venus is in the gate 6, and Mercury's in the gate 59, which is a full bonding channel. And 59.6 is really it's one more tribal energy. For a lot of the week, we actually have emotional energy, and it's tribal emotional energy. Tribal emotional energy is always about support. And when we talk about the 59.6, this is about a resolution, and it's also about breaking barriers. It's also about bonding. It's also about having intimacy and having connections with people. And now with Mercury, we have Mercury is kind of it's a fast moving planet. It wants to get in and it wants to get out. It doesn't want to stick around very long. Now with Venus is saying, I want to have more of a connection. Venus flows better in this energy. And there's this connection with, I want to have more of you could say more of a permanence to this relationship kind of energy. Whereas Mercury's like, I'm not here for a long time. I'm just going to kind of do my thing and then move on. And basically that's the thing. Now, last week we had Mars in this energy, which Mars was 100% just this yang energy, just get what you want and move on. Now we have Venus, which is half of the channel, is going to have some influence that wants to have some more connection, some more harmony, some more conflict resolution, some more ability to connect. But with Mercury the connection may not necessarily be as long-standing, but there is more potential now to have more of a long-standing connection together, or a relationship that might have more of a chance of lasting longer. But there's no guarantee. Well, there's no guarantee with anything, but there's just more of a potential with Venus having the say in the matter. But Mercury, like I said, moves very fast. But there is that emotional energy, that need to connect, to be supported. So we have a lot of energy that's saying we want to have support, and it's all about relationships. So there's a lot of connections with relationships, and new relationships, and relationships that are ongoing as it is. That will be a big theme that we'll be seeing playing out. So maybe a lot of dating or interactions, but also this idea of trying to work on the relationships that are already ongoing. So a lot of active activity, if that's your thing. If it's not, then it could be just about breaking barriers with people that you work with, or breaking barriers in communications, or breaking barriers of any kind, really, to see eye to eye with other people. Now, both of these emotional channels are only going to last for a few days, and that's something to keep in mind. But for those few days, it definitely could have us feeling more emotionally charged than normally, because this is going to be a world energy. And it really is about, like I said, support. This isn't like a passion that you get with individual energy. This is not creative energy. This is about the basics, the mundane parts of life, the things that we need to survive as a human race. If you don't have a sacral defined normally, then just keep it in mind that you're going to have a sacral definition from August 11th to 15th, just so you know. August 15th, we do have Mercury going into the gate 40. So last week we had Mars going through the gate 40, and Mars is all about, get this job done, workaholic, no stopping, don't have the rest, because the gate 40 is all about work to rest, because it is a will center gate, and it means that you work for a certain period of time. The will center is work, and then you have a rest. And that's part of the whole dynamic of how this energy works. So in other words, there is this need to be alone, to have the solitude, to have this ability to recharge. When Mars was in there last week, it was just pushing the limit, saying, I need more, and not allowing anybody to sort of step away from this workaholic tendency. Mercury's fairly neutral within this energy. So it gives this idea that we actually might have that chance to kind of, if we've been working too much because Mars was kind of pushing the envelope, we might have that chance to kind of unwind, to stop working as hard as we were, and start to talk about what kind of support can we give to ourselves. Again, this is more tribal energy. What kind of support can we give to ourselves so that we're feeling better? This is also about feeling that you want to be appreciated for what you do, because a lot of times you're willing to do the work, but sometimes you just don't feel like people are appreciating you as much as they should. And this might be just kind of wanting to have that appreciation, or sometimes feeling that you're underappreciated. But the other perspective is, if that's the case, then that is even more of an impetus for you to take a break and to recharge, because you definitely need it, especially if you're feeling kind of despondent because people haven't been appreciating you as you feel they should. On August 15th, we do have Venus going into the gate 46, and this is half of the 2946. This is, again, more, like I said, it could be luck that comes in. If you have the hanging gate 29, or if you have the gate 46, you could be at the right place at the right time. This is really talking about listening to your body, listening to what your body needs, to take care of your body, to use it as a barometer. And a lot of times what we do is we have this tendency to work through something. You'll feel kind of tired, or maybe you'll come home and you have a bit of a sore throat and you just ignore it, and a couple days later you're just flat out. What this says is that you have all these indicators of things that are your body's telling you to slow down, to do whatever. And that's our design side. It's talking to us all the time. This says, let's connect with that, because the body is the house for the soul for this incarnation. So taking care of it is probably one of the most important things we can do. And that's just encouraging ourselves to take better care of our bodies, to Venusian things, to have a massage, to do the nice things to your body, to eat the good food that makes you feel good. So Venus can be about kind of indulgence and those types of things. But when it comes to the gate 46, we're talking about this idea of eating the things that your body likes because it makes your body feel good, whatever that is. And with the gate 46, it doesn't have to be the consensus of the general population. It has to be the consensus of what you feel is right for your body. So you might eat something that other people think is not good for your body, but for you, it feels right. It's when you have the gate 46. And also with this energy, any kind of illness is usually something, it's pointing you in a certain direction to say that something needs to change because you potentially are not in the flow of your life. It does really talk about being in the flow of your life, the gate 46. So this is just reminding us, are we in the flow of our lives? Are we walking the trajectory of where we're supposed to be? Have we gone off our path? And if we have, how can we get back on it? And again, taking care of your body, doing the things that are kind of pampering your body is going to be important this week. Right now, like I talked about Mars being in this energy, it's still in there until August 16th. Mercury does connect with Mars on the 15th. And then Mars moves on. So then we can have this ability to disentangle, to kind of get out of the workaholic tendency and kind of take a break, because if you have been influenced dramatically by this energy, you probably would feel you definitely need a break. August 16th, Mars moves into the gate 64. Now the gate 64 is, we had Venus go into the gate 64 not long ago. Venus was much more relaxed in this and basically understood that the confusion will clear, the clarity will come. The thing about the gate 64, again, this is a pressure, and we don't get the clarity or the awareness until we get the gate 47. The nice thing is that we'll always get the gate 47. It is always following right after the gate 64. So we get this download, and then right after we get the clarity. Mars doesn't like to wait. Mars wants the answer now. So the confusion is there, but there's this need to just kind of push through it and say, oh, well, I'm just going to, you have 10 doors to open and only one takes you to the proper destination. You're just going to pick any door and just walk and hope it's the right one. Well, good chance it's going to take you off your path, and you're not necessarily going to be able to get where you want to go. But Mars wants to grab onto anything that it can. So that's why it's important to kind of understand that the confusion is there, and understand that the answers may not necessarily come right away. And knowing that we will get the gate 47, we will get that connection. We will get, so for instance, the gate 64 is little sequences. I talked about this last week. It's basically, we have sequences of a movie, but we don't get them in order. We don't exactly know what the flow is. But when we get the gate 47, it starts to decode it for us, or it starts to put those sequences in a way that we can actually see the movie, you could say. So without the gate 47, we're not going to have the clarity. But then when we do, we have these aha moments and a realization of exactly what it all means, these theories, these ideologies, or anything like that. So that's why it's important to wait for the clarity to come. And even though you may feel like you just want to, again, because we're really talking about this week with the answers and just trying to get sort of some clarity, knowing that the clarity will come, and patience is a virtue that if you have it this week, it will really help you, because the answers will come. You'll get it through electromagnetics with other people, or you'll get it through the transits, one or the other. You'll get some awareness that will come when we get the gate 47 being transited. And that's it for the transits. I hope you enjoyed them, and I'll be back again next week. Until then, take care, and I'll see you soon. Bye for now.